he's drilling Lee back there with both their cameras going.
Okay.
Yep.
I think he needs to go to jail, and the whole mess can go down.
Because he thinks he can just take it to court and get it dismissed.
Alright guys, welcome back. We're about to watch an interview about an extremely controversial topic that could possibly change the world we live in. We're also going to watch this body cam footage of a man named
Luis,
who is dealing with the same issues. The man I'm going to be interviewing, Cameron Wilson, is helping
Luis,
and he sent me this video. So we're going to go over the body cam footage. The topic is driver versus traveler. What sets this video apart from many others we've seen is the fact that Cameron has led by example and demonstrated what he's talking about and has won.
I get to bring up all the points, and I get to stand up for my forefathers that died to secure the securities, liberties, and rights of every individual to live in the life and pursuit of happiness in every regard. We don't have kings anymore, bro. This is America. We're all free to be ourselves and do whatever we see fit as long as we don't hurt another being. And that's the beauty of America. That's why we had so many people die for us, man. My aunts, I'm aboriginal to this land. So to see this happen to where someone feels as though they have more power over me and my ancestors, that's insane to me, bro. Okay. I come from this land and this soil.
Most people that talk about this subject aren't willing to do it themselves. In order to validate their arguments, they're not willing to take the ride. But a lot of folks these days seem to be getting over that hump. There are several channels that have sent me their videos and I've had to skip them because my channel has been shadow banned several times before for bringing this up. And they also like to slap a sovereign citizen label on my video, which is an oxymoron because you cannot be a sovereign and a citizen at the same time. You cannot be a free slave, folks. This is merely a discussion to find out why people believe they can travel on the road without needing a driver's license. Get ready to join a discussion that most people stay away from. Today we're diving deep into it, and I myself was impressed by this man's leadership, dedication, and commitment to opening his own eyes as well as ours. His channel name is Power Inherent to the People, and his name is Cameron Wilson. Get a notepad ready, folks, because you might just learn something new today. Without further ado, here's the video.
Right now.
Yeah, you got it on?
Yes.
Okay.
I am not putting up with any of this constitutionalist or sovereign citizen BS. Whatever you want to call yourself, there's laws in the state of Washington, RCWs, that you have to follow to legally drive in the state of Washington. You can use the term travel, whatever you want to use. I don't care. You're operating a motor vehicle on public roads in the state of Washington.
Public roads?
Yes. You have to obey traffic laws in this state. Your vehicle has to be licensed. Your trailer has to be licensed. You have to identify yourself when requested by law enforcement.
Unless there's a crime, then I gotta identify myself.
There is a crime.
No, there isn't.
Initially, you wouldn't identify yourself, which is a crime. You finally did.
Yeah, because
yes, it is. It's a misdemeanor.
You see, it's not a crime, though. It's a misdemeanor.
In your eyes, it might not be.
You know what a crime
but all of us are going to tell you that it is.
But you know what a crime is defined by the court? That there has to be corpus delicti, and it's under Title 18, 242. You guys are depriving.
Okay, I'm not going with titles. I'm going with RCWs in the state of Washington. I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
You are lawfully detained at this point. He is issuing you infractions.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, well, I'll take it to court.
That's fine. In 25 years, I've never lost a case against somebody with your arguments. So
yeah, that's fine. I got all the case laws and everything.
That's fine.
Yeah, so we'll see who wins, because, you know.
Not a problem.
I've done it before, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, man? How are you?
Man, I'm not feeling very good.
You feeling sick or?
Well, yesterday I was okay. I was like getting some stuffy nose. My throat was doing okay, but now my throat's kind of hurting. I can kind of feel it in my chest. You know, it's like that phlegm. So that's what's going on right now. My energy's a little low. So
I got a little bit of that going on too, man.
It's that time.
Right.
It's the only time I get sick the whole year. So.
Word.
Yeah.
All right. So your name is Cameron?
Yeah, I'm Cameron.
All right. So I've shared one of your videos before in the past, and I was totally blown away. I did not expect to see what I saw. I've seen plenty of videos like yours before, but I have never seen anybody come out on top or forced to be released by the chief of police. I was totally blown away, like I said, when I seen that video. I've been reluctant to talk about traveler versus driver only because when I do, I notice that my channel gets shadow banned. But I want everyone to know that's watching this right now, I want YouTube to know, if you guys watch this, that I personally don't have an opinion. I don't know yet. I'm trying to learn, and I have questions. So this isn't a video of yes you can or no you can't. This is a video of we're gonna talk about these things and see where and who may be wrong, may be right, and where do we go from here in the future. So I guess my first question to you is, in the book, I did hear some of it yesterday and I didn't get to go through the whole thing, but you mentioned Sines versus Roe in the book. Can you elaborate on that Supreme Court case decision?
So the Supreme Court has recognized the right to travel as a fundamental liberty, and they confirmed it in 1999. So that's fairly recently, where it says the right to travel, and this is a quote, is part of the liberty of which the citizen cannot be deprived without due process of law under the First Amendment. Okay, so that's Sines versus Roe, and that's the quote I use because, well, one is that it's pretty recent. I mean, that's 1999, y'all. So we're not a lot of people when they say, "Oh, well, that was when they was talking about carriages or when they was talking about wagons." Do you think they didn't have the foresight already to understand what would happen in the future with automobiles being in place? So, I mean, the construction of the roads was dedicated for the public, and if we really look into like the history of license plates in itself, they were kind of just to identify the car. So if someone ran off or something like that, and all they asked was that someone put on their initials. And this was like back in 1905,
So is that's a fake plate? So that needs to come off there.
That's not a valid plate.
It's a constitutional.
But that one,
that's a fake plate.
That is a fake
Those
plate.
need to come off.
Okay.
Those are evidence. And you should write him for displaying fictitious plates.
Okay. I'll write him for that. The car, I can't do anything about because it's not being driven.
Right.
So I can't really touch the car, but
it's on the trailer. You're not going to leave the car sitting in the parking lot.
Well, and normally I would take the trailer and the car because I mean, do we really want to go that far? I have no way of proving.
Are you writing in for any misdemeanors, or is it all infractions?
No. So I'm writing in for no proof of insurance, which is the only infraction.
Okay.
Misdemeanors: operate vehicle without registration and federal transfer title within 45 days.
Operating a vehicle without registration is a misdemeanor?
That's what it said.
Okay. I'm just making sure because it's criminal. That's fine.
Double check. Yeah, I need to get I haven't used sector for so long that it's not
That's fine.
up to date.
Let me call Ubers real quick.
Yeah, so I mean, the history of it is pretty crazy, but even if we go back and look at the history of kind of where it started, where they were just asking, put on your license plates, to where it finally, the encroachment began with more statutes and more statutes, we can clearly see that the Supreme Court had always been stating that this was a liberty. It's a secured liberty and one of the most sacred, quote unquote. So, I think we just really have to understand that we've been programmed to think that these are things that we need permission to do. I think a lot of us think that we need business, a license. Well, what is the definition of a license?
You're
Do
asking
you know?
Me? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Permission?
Okay.
A permission slip?
Permission slip. Yeah. Like, don't we live in America?
Right.
I thought they taught us the Constitution in school. Who needs permission? Why you need permission? Who told you you need permission? Someone told you permission and scammed you. They made you believe something. So I feel like it's kind of a faith. It's kind of like the society just tells you something and then you believe it, and then you don't do your research behind to figure out the truth of the matter. And so, in the book, I think what's really fascinating is that I took my personal experiences, both with cops, law enforcement, district attorneys, prosecutors, lawyers, and judges. And what's pretty fascinating in all that is I never really got violated too much. I mean, we can probably go into some civil litigation that I'm going into right now, and that's with the Richfield Chief thing. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on the road first. What else you got?
Are you currently fighting one of those types of charges right now, as far as driving with no license and stuff like that? Are you going through that right now?
No, so currently I have no active pending charges or anything like that. Earlier this year I did get pulled over. I did get my vehicle towed. But what I think is really amazing in that is that I didn't get arrested. They actually even pinned in my car. Like, one car pulled me over, then another came in front and pinned me.
So you won't leave?
That is pretty shocking. But what's amazing in that too is that within an hour and a half, I had everything. I had my car back. So logically, we got to start thinking about that. If within an hour and a half, if I can get my car back, what was the point of taking it in the first place?
Did you have to pay to get it back?
Yeah, you had to pay. And so what we've done with all of these experiences too, like right now, I got a client, Luis. I'm not gonna say his last name. Shout out, Luis. Actually, you know what? I want to just go into his situation real quick. So let's put in his situation. So if anybody has a custom car, they usually put license plates, some kind of custom license plate, whether it's chrome or metal or whatever the case may be on that car. They want to be cool. They want to have their own name on their vehicle. Well, one of my clients right now, he was at a gas station here in Washington. He had already been parked. I think he was just getting still at the pump. So that's private property. He's not on public roads. And a police officer came and started talking to him about his license plate that he made, his own private license plate that he made. It said Yah, as in Yahweh 777, and it had Title 18, Section 242 on the bottom of it. Didn't look like a Washington license plate at all. They started, talking to him. He stood on his rights, and they ended up towing his vehicle and just giving him a whole bunch of charges. One of the charges was actually a felony fraud charge, forgery.
Holy, is he still fighting that?
Yeah, we're fighting it right now. They gave him a forgery charge, fraud, for making his own license plate, y'all. There's millions of license plates that people make. Millions upon tens of millions of custom license plates that people make, and they're not declared a felon. Why?
Was his license plate in the front or in the back? Does that make a difference?
It doesn't make a difference. It's private property. It's not registered to the state. It's not titled to the state. In no ways does it have any contractual agreements with the state.
Hello. Hey, it's Swim. So, wanted to run something by you. Feldner stopped a truck pulling a car trailer with a car on the trailer. Both the truck and the car on the trailer have fictitious constitutionalist license plates. The vehicle's not... It has a sold date clear back in 2023. Doesn't even say who it was sold to. It's not got current registration. The guy tried to pull the constitutionalist card and initially wouldn't identify himself. Now he finally has. Travis is writing him for several different things. Do we have the right to take the fictitious plates off of the car that's being towed?
You would have to look at the RCW, but I think you would need a warrant to get the one that's being towed.
That's what I thought. And the trailer's not registered. There's no identifying marks on it whatsoever that he can find. He wanted to tow just the trailer, but it's hooked to the truck. I don't think we can do that.
Do you have any doubt about the ownership? Were you able to...
He has no documentation. No insurance, no registration, no nothing.
No license?
He did provide a license finally. When he knew that he may be going to jail.
He should still be going to jail.
I agree.
So you can impound it if the ownership of the vehicle is in doubt, or if you suspect it's been altered.
Okay.
So on the trailer, if they destroyed the VIN, or altered the VIN, you can impound it for vehicle identification.
Okay.
Other than that, the reasonable alternative would still stand. So if he's able to find a driver, within a reasonable time frame.
Well, he's got a license.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think to get the plate off the one on the trailer, you'd have to have a warrant, because it's not even required to be licensed if it's not on the road.
I think what we just, I mean, this can drop. It's totally gonna get dropped. You know, Luis, I think Luis was scared a little bit at first, right? But then when he starts reading these statutes, he's like, Cameron, I don't even see how they're charging with me in the first place. And so these type of like the aspect of what's going on, and I only speak in this manner because not only have I lived the situation, but my pop's ex-law enforcement, right? Or actually, he's still law enforcement. He just behind the desk now. But with that being said, like the book itself, which I'm here to promote, but the book itself, you know, really breaks down and it's like an introductory, but it really gets deep too. Because I think what people are like misinterpreting is the aspect that natural law supersedes all law. Okay, we are creations of the Creator. The line of authority goes the Creator, man, federal government, state, county, then the city. These policemen are at the very bottom of the line of authority.
They're acting like they're at the top.
They're acting like they're at the top, and we are acting as though they're at the top. That's the problem. Really, the problem really is not relying upon them acting as though they're in the top. That's not the problem. The problem is the people not understanding that they are the top. That's the problem. As though we have to bow, as though we have kings or someone above us. Bro, you are a king, my brother. Your wife is a queen. Your son is a prince. That's America. That's what our ancestors died for. You see what I'm saying? And, you know, I get really emotional about it just because, you know, if we really look at history, which is, I'm really deep on. I have another channel where I do a whole bunch of history. Just the aspect that the colonialism, you know, came over here and tried to dictate their laws upon us in the first place. That's crazy, right? But then we had, you know, the Constitution to give them those barriers, those guidelines, that fence that stops them from intruding on those rights. And I mean, I'm starting to get to the realization that harm can come in multitude of fashions. It don't have to just be physical, y'all. Right. There can be emotional harassment inflictions, right? Because let me ask you that: have you ever been so heartbroken that you actually feel that pain? Oh yeah, I think we all have. We've all been in a deep pain or emotional, at least, where you lose somebody, your heart broke, whatever the case may be, and you feel that pain like it's a physical pain. Bro, when cops get behind me, I feel a physical pain in my back. You see what I'm saying? That's a real thing. But it's like, and why is that? Because they have been carte blanche, or whatever the term is, eligibility to just shoot people for no reason. I mean, you pull over somebody and someone, you know, if someone's in an emotional state and they're like, man, I ain't got my papers in order and I'm gonna get this ticket, or they're gonna tow my car, and they're in a panic state because they literally don't have no money left, bro. One thing will get them evicted or will get them fired from their job. You know, it's like the last string. And it's like, how many of those people have lost their lives just because they panicked in that last moment? You see what I'm saying? How many families have been affected off of just a traffic stop, you know?
Oh, okay. It's not an altered trip permit. It's just one of those constitutionalist made-up license plates. But okay, that's a good point. Has he alluded to why he has those plates displayed on his vehicle? Because Evers is saying that you could arrest him for forgery, which is a felony, because he's using those plates in a fraudulent manner so that he doesn't have to pay to license the vehicle.
Oh, yeah. No, I've not asked him about the plates, other than I ran them and they came back no record.
Well,
and it's the same plate for both the car, so yeah, they're plates.
Well, I'm just thinking we impound the truck, the trailer, and the car that's on the trailer all at once, and just to get the trailer identified, and the truck's not legally able to be on the road in the first place. That's what I'm leaning towards. Yep, we can't. It's just a double axle, tandem axle car trailer, flatbed car trailer. No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like a legit, you know, factory-made car trailer. I mean, it's older, but so.
And I think that's the bigger thing for this, for me at least, is educating the people so that they can have the power to eliminate the fear and then all of the problems that come with that fear.
One of the things that I've noticed, we are starting to see more and more and more videos of people challenging this. Obviously, in many situations, people do not beat the ride. They do not beat, you know, getting their car impounded, kind of like your situation recently. There's a woman, Autumn Coleman. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's done the same thing as well. Her videos, her channel has not taken off. She's being shadow banned. She asked me to do a video of hers, and I didn't do it. I feel bad. My heart's broken just because of the fact that every time I try to do a video regarding traveler versus driver, my whole channel gets shadow banned, and I get like no views for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, and it's like I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I knew where I went wrong on YouTube, right? I don't know what the deal is, you know, they say sovereign citizen and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
There are questions regarding this whenever I have done videos like this. The one question that I always get, or the comment that I always get that talks about, oh, you fucking sovereign citizen. Even the people, not just government, will call us sovereign citizens, or the people who question authority, right?
Yeah.
But they have that question of insurance. So what is the deal with insurance? How, if we the people figure it out and we the people start to go down that route, right? What do we do? How do we solve the problem of insurance?
Well, anybody can get insurance. You don't have to have a driver's license to get insurance. So that's a real thing.
Before you used to have to, right?
Yeah, before you used to have to. They used to be pretty, but there's just so many people that are unlicensed on the roads now. They're just like, hey man, we need to collect on this. We're missing out.
What does that tell you though, right? What
That they
does
know.
that say? That they know, right?
But they were just cooperating with the system, you know? The system, everything's in cooperation. It's kind of like right now with gun rights. Okay, so this is a big deal. A lot of people don't know this, but there's a case, Chevron. This case kind of allowed all your statutory and your municipalities, your states, all those courts to kind of lean on their own language and their own determinations within the state.
Right.
And then just kind of bypass any federal aspects on rights. They're just like, yeah, well, the state says, so we're going this. And in June of this year, that got repealed.
The Chevron deference case, right?
Yeah. So now that that's repealed, your right to travel is even more enforceable than it's ever been. Like ever been in time. At least within the past 30 years, let's say that. Because that's been repealed. So they now have to go back to Supreme Court rulings more so than their own statutory rulings. Okay. So that's a big deal. And I don't think people are really recognizing that. I don't think that's really hit as hard as, I don't think people really understand that yet. Because where it's focused at is gun rights for felons, right? So that's where it's being focused at right now. You know, you got a couple of courts that have ruled in favor of constitutional rights for felons to own guns. And then, of course, in the same instance, some of the same Supreme Courts on different circuits have said, no, you still ain't getting them back. So we're in that period where we're in lingo between actually finally allowing felons, at least non-violent felons, to get their gun rights restored without going through extreme amounts of paperwork or just, you know, problems and complications.
Right. Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we'll muddle through this and figure it out. All right. Thank you. I may be calling you back. Okay. Bye. So, Evers, like I said, because those plates are displayed on there, it's fraud. If you want to book him, he said you could impound the entire mess and then have to write a search warrant, have a VIN inspector come up here from Spokane to identify the trailer.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
He's drilling Lee back there with both their cameras going.
Okay.
Yep.
I think he needs to go to jail, and the whole mess can go down.
Because he thinks he can just take it to court and get it dismissed. So.
Okay. Well. And then at the time of the search warrant, then you can seize the plates. Take pictures of them now.
Yeah.
Seize the plates during the search warrant.
Okay, let me clear my back seat.
Okay.
But with the insurance too, you got to also remember it's a scheme, y'all. It's always been a scheme. So how it ended up working in the very beginning was that they had so many civil cases coming in relation to any kind of accidents that they was like, we need to put something in place so we quit flooding the courts rather than just establishing more courts directly for traffic itself. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Real quick, don't you think that the government would actually want that? Because in order to keep the courts open, you have to have people coming in. And so now, because they're trying to stop that, cops are out there enforcing feelings all the time. We're not going to play court on the side of the road, send you off to court, take you to jail, send you to court, let you deal with it there, right?
Yeah.
And you would think that the government would want this in order to keep the courts open.
Yeah.
But those are civil cases, right?
Yeah, civil cases. Yeah. I mean, insurance to this day is still civil. Right? That's why you have an adjuster. They're working it in on the back end, y'all. You could do that yourself, pro se. I promise that. Okay. It's not very hard to be pro se. We are in the age of intelligence. Like AI, bro, is here, and there is nothing that you can't learn. Okay. You have literally at your fingertips a team of paralegals at any time.
Right.
I don't know what you need to go get an attorney for anymore. Okay.
Bro, I talk about this all the time on my channel. I believe attorneys soon will become obsolete. You know, they want to get paid for the information they have. They went to school, they want to get paid. I get it. But we can't afford that shit. Not only do we have to pay for our own attorneys, we have to pay for government's attorneys when they screw up. Not only do we have to pay for their attorneys, we have to pay for the lawsuits. And it just doesn't make any sense how the system is being ran. It's a system designed for the people to never win, for the system to always win.
Yeah. Well, only if you don't have the knowledge, right? It's designed to win only if you're ignorant of the actual rules. True. You know? So I think what's cool about this though too right now is there's some, I'm not big on politics. I really don't try to pay attention too much on politics, but I can definitely see right now there's going to be some drastic changes for the next 4 years about to happen. CIA, there's some new department about to be issued. It's called the DOGE, Department of Governmental Efficiency. Elon's going to be running that with Kash Patel. So I can see that there's going to be some major changes coming, and they're being directed towards restoring the Constitution back to its originality. I can see it. And hopefully, beyond just people speaking out their mouth, those actions get done, because you know how that works as far as politics is concerned.
Yeah.
But at the same instance, earlier this year, I initiated a campaign called the Traffic Law Reform, and it's also a nonprofit organization. And this is for empowerment as well, just to give education to people in relation to these traffic laws and that the power in which you have and how, yesterday I put out a video. We're going through let me finish this. So this traffic law reform, we got a petition. It's on change.org, and we're having people sign it. We're sending over these petitions over to senators throughout the states, representative on Senate, Congress levels as well, governors, just to kind of inform them and get the conversation going, because they're not as educated as well on this. And then also what I think is pretty cool is, like I was just speaking about the attorney aspect, is all of the cases that I've gone through on the citations aspect, as far as like violations, tickets. I've always represented myself, followed my own motions, and I learned so much in all of that. I even had one attorney, after I got done, I turned around, I'm in my blue suit, I'm in my blue 3-piece, you dig? I'm looking nice, bro. I turn around, and as soon as I go away from the podium and speaking, they rescheduling it. They dismissed it. An attorney walks up to me and she goes, "Good job," like that, right? And then as I go out into the hallway, I'm waiting, and another attorney asked me, he goes, "Hey, I just wondered, what law firm are you from?" And I'm just like, dang, bro, they really think I'm a lawyer out here. So that's like so cool. No, I think by learning and putting yourself into the situation, whether you win or lose, the judges are going to respect you if you're standing on it. And I had a course that I put out. It's called the Right to Travel course, and I was selling that bad boy. And the reason I was selling it is because I know people are always going to ask questions and need help later, and people would be like, "Oh, why not just give it out for free?" Because if I give it out for free, you're going to ask questions, and then you're going to think I'm an asshole if I just don't answer you and give you those questions. So at least give me a little money so I can answer some of your questions, because I know you're going to have some. But by releasing this book, we put the course out for free. So now the course is free for all.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, I'm so excited to put it it out for free because I think, you know, Lewis's situation with that, them giving him a forgery fraud felony charge for making his own license plate, I think is the most ridiculous. But I've also recognized that other people are going through the same experience, right?
I'd rather have you do it, and I'll just stay down here. Let me go talk to Lee real quick. Give me 1 minute. Jason, Lee. So talking to Evers, specifically the truck, because it has the constitutionalist license plates displayed on it. They're fictitious. He said arrest him for fraud because he's fraudulently displaying those plates so that he doesn't have to pay for registration to have this on the road. And we book him on a felony. We tow the whole mess and do a search warrant on it. Get a VIN inspector up here from Spokane to identify the trailer and so forth, and seize the plates at that time.
Evers thinks it's fraud?
He does. He thinks that displaying these plates because they're not legitimate plates is the same as using an altered
Fake trip permit?
fake trip permit.
Okay.
We can't prove that that trailer belongs to him or the car since we can't look at the
Does
car.
he have any paperwork on the truck?
He gave
Had
you
3 VIN numbers. I didn't run all of them on whoever he bought all this stuff from.
Right, but we
He had a
haven't
paper
run
with 3 different
Have we
VIN
run the
numbers.
VIN that's actually displayed on the
yes,
truck?
and it comes
Yes.
back to this.
But it's not registered,
registered
to
to
him. Title's
him.
never been transferred. He has like a bill of sale or something?
Yeah, from the registered owner.
Okay.
And then the sold note just has a date on it. He didn't put the dude's name who he sold it to. The guy
So his
sold
name's
it to
not
is-
on the piece of paper.
It is on. His name is on the piece of paper. It's not on the piece of paper that went to the DOL when the guy gave up interest.
Yeah, I saw that.
But the bill of sale's got both guys' names.
Yeah, they're both
Has he
sovereign.
even alluded to where he's going?
He says he's taking this to Spokane Valley because there's a problem with the ignition.
Yeah.
Not running.
But it's funny that the VIN's conveniently covered up.
Yep.
That's their whole problem.
Well, I'm all for him going to jail for all of this.
Steering columns missing and been removed.
I saw that.
So he's taking it to Spokane Valley.
So yeah, that's suspicious right there.
You saw that chief one. So that chief one was really crazy too. And what's crazy about that is I had already established a notice of liability on them. So they were put on notice that if they violated my rights, they's gonna get hit up. Like, I'm gonna sue you. And after that situation happened, you know, he called my place of employment, and my place of employment did stop giving me commercial leads. Like, they were like, hey, we can't give you commercial leads anymore. We have an image. We can only give you residential. So I lost out at about somewhere around $50,000 to about $75,000 just on my own income that I could have made in that year because I'm not doing commercials anymore. And so what I ended up doing is we sent it over the notices. We ended up getting an investigation done, filed a claim through the insurance. Of course, the insurance ain't gonna do nothing. But once the actual investigation happened through the insurance, they ended up firing the sergeant. Wow. And so I got the sergeant fired, and so they let him go. And right now 30 days ago, tomorrow will be 30 days. We just sent out the intent to sue letter, so they got that bad boy, and we taking them to federal court, bro. And I'm doing this myself. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say, like, the book is here to help you on the situation, to know what you got to do all the way through court, and to take it all the way to civil court if they have a problem. I think what people really try to, like, I think the biggest thing is sometimes people just got to go to jail. Just let them violate you, bro. It's going to pay out in the long run. Stand on your rights. Quit bowing down. And it's not about like these police just want to do this to you. They're actually just doing what they're told to do, bro. They got a job. If they don't do their job, then they're gonna get fired. There was that one cop on that same video that we're talking about who
actually said, hey man, I would like to do this too. He's like, I wish I didn't have to pay for insurance and stuff like that. And I remember watching that thinking, I think I may have narrated and said things like, look guys, I mean, even this cop is like, why don't the people stand up? Just because you wear a uniform and you're afraid to lose your job, you're not going to stand up for the people or for what might be right, because all the people can't be wrong, bro. And earlier you said that insurance was changed to because too many people were driving on the road with no license, so they had to change that, right? When enough people wake up and challenge these things, then our government has no choice but to put it up there, right? Or what?
Yeah, so that's why I think the traffic law reform is going to be really, really big, because within the traffic law reform, we got a campaign. It's called Project Parrot, and Project Parrot is just everybody really going out and speaking like we're parroting each other on, yo, this is our rights. We need to change these things. Now, does that mean I am all for get out there and speed and do whatever the hell you want? No, it is very clear that beyond just like safety, caution, speed, beyond those things, you good. Stop at the lights, man. Be careful, be safe. But I don't got my papers in order, or I ain't, I'm expired for 2 months. Like, that's landing with people getting their vehicles towed, getting put in jail. I ain't got no driver's license. Like, check this out, man. Let's say, okay, I'm an amputee, right? Let's say that if I went to go renew my license, would they know that I'm an amputee? Would they test me for that? No. Have my driving eligibility changed as far as how safe I can be in regards to how I am now driving because I have one leg, right? Yes, it has changed, right? You see what I'm saying? So what about a mental aspect? Let's say somebody goes through something in life and they just have some kind of mental thing going on to where they can't drive as well, or physical, but you can steadily renew your license without nobody checking. You see what I'm saying? So what's the point of a driver's license? There really is not one, other than, oh, you got permission from us to do what you're already eligible to do. So I think it's dumb in that regard. But in this book, I think, we just go back, I got 11 chapters in this bad boy, and it goes back to natural law, natural rights, which is every single one of us has every right to travel however the hell we want to, man. We've had highways on this land of America, which was known as Mexico, which was known as Tlapalan, which was known as several other names before it was known as America. We had highways back then, bro. So, there wasn't no, we did get to the point where there were toll barons and robber barons on the road, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got that no more. But the aspect that you have all individual sovereign free, your sovereignty to truly freely travel on these roads, and that it's been dictated and it's in case law and it's so numerous. And I'm going through so many hours right now on a new series where we're just running through this. I'm giving extra information in support of the book too. But I really think the book has everything there. I know this book gonna do really well on bestsellers. I got a lot of good reviews right now. I'm giving, it's really hitting. So we got it in a hard copy, but I also got it to where it's in an audiobook. I'm assuming you was listening to a little bit of it.
I listened to about 30-45 minutes of it yesterday.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good. What do you think of it so far?
There was some things in there that I believe leads us down a road where we can do our own research. Because when discussing this topic, one of the things I was looking out for while listening to it, I was playing the video game when I was listening to it. But one of the things I was looking out for was a timeline. How did we get to where we're at? What case laws allowed government to believe they can put these stipulations, these things? How did we get there versus how we got to where we're at? Like, we're in this mindset, we just obey, we just comply, we just obey. And sometimes even if it's not law, we're complying and obeying. It's like, so what, we keep that up, it will become law. We just obey.
Let's do it like this. I'm gonna do it in two scenarios to compare here. And some people may not like it, but I don't care. So I think of it as, in that same way, if you go and get taught something generation after generation, it's just going to become law. It's just going to become, they're not going to see it for what it really is. So it's kind of peeling back the layers of programming, peeling back the layers of all, it's just really programming. Once you peel back the layers of programming and you get in there and state everything and understand where it comes from, it was always commercial, y'all. I got quotes that we're going through just yesterday. Like I said, I posted something. I'm still putting up videos. We went to something that said, I forget the exact quote, but it was like, there is no other highest form of eligibility to use the roads than the individual sovereign person. Meaning that there's nobody that has more power, nobody that gets a license or a commercial. And it was all based on the aspect that we had all the, the roads was made for us to travel. And now we got all these commercial businesses and all these big trucks on the road, and they damaging it and they dropping stuff. And, you got cow dung falling out the back. I mean, you got all this stuff going on and people was getting sick of it, man. They needed to figure out, I'm not going to get out there and clean all this up. Y'all out here using the roads and damaging. We need to figure out something to put in place for all these commercial people using the roads, damaging it, causing problems, causing traffic. And that's where it originated. The aspect of commercial, using the roads for profit or gain rather than for leisure to get to point A to point B as we should. And that's where they started implementing the aspect of licensing, license plates. It was just a tax. It was a tax for the commercial or use of the roads for commercial gain. And that's where it began.
I did a video for a woman called Michelle's Mobile Media, her channel. She got a seatbelt ticket. What I didn't know before I did the video was that California law doesn't allow cops to pull you over specifically only for a seatbelt. I didn't know that. I've been pulled over for seatbelts before. Many people have been pulled over simply for seatbelts and have gotten tickets. But now I'm reading the law and I'm reading it, and it states that cops can't just pull you over for a seatbelt ticket alone. But that shit's been happening for years. So it just goes to show that cops don't really care about law, nor do they know it. Cops will tell you, we don't have to know all the laws. There's too many of them in the books. But they'll turn around and tell you ignorance of the law is no excuse. So cops could just say whatever they want. You're trespassing. People are arrested for trespassing all the time. Simply recording on the sidewalk, people are arrested because they won't give up ID. Failure to identify is a secondary charge. They still need an initial charge. They don't care. And they continue to do these things over and over and over again. And we as a people, we don't understand some of these things. We don't understand our natural rights, the Constitution. We don't understand certain things. We're dependent. We depend on the government, the cops, to give us our rights, to remind us of our rights. That shit is never gonna fucking happen. So we have to continue to learn, educate ourselves, push forward. We have a community where people are learning their rights. We've asked cops if they know the First Amendment. They don't know it. So we have so much civil unrest going on here. I've been discovering things like they are turning, in government installations, they are turning information desks into security checkpoints. You can't enter certain buildings now without showing identification. Give a reason why you're there, yada yada yada. So while politics is going on, and here we are voting, expecting one person or the other to save us from something, right? We're all confused. We're not studying. We're not learning. We're a dependent people. We believe that someone's gonna come in and fix things for us. In reality, we the people can create the change that needs to be done. We just need to have more communication, more agree to disagree, more understanding, more trying to figure it out. Hey, if we can't come to an understanding today, let's continue the topic tomorrow, right? Let's talk it out. Cops arrive on scene and they're not willing to discuss law nor look it up really quick. They're not willing to do that, even though they don't know all the laws. There's too many of them in the books. But the people come in and say, hey man, hold on, I got rights, yada yada yada. Oh, you're a sovereign citizen, fucking going to jail, bam bam bam. And it's just, we the people have forgotten the power that we have. Like you said, we are at the top. We are acting like we're at the bottom and the cops are at the top. What can change that?
A knowing. It really is a mindset. I've had Christine Maroon. She gave a good review recently and said, the information is really amazing, but the biggest thing was a mindset change. Everything that, she learned in the course was, it just changed her whole mindset. And it again comes down to, like you just said, understanding that we're at the top. It's the line of authority. You're a creation of the creator. And when you forget that, it's not about religion, right? At all. You can be whatever religion. But yeah, it's like you're a creation of the creator, y'all. And you have to understand that. But I think what everybody just has to really understand is you have to get away from the labeling aspect of sovereign citizen. That term is an oxymoron. It conflicts itself. I've talked to cops, I think on my Ridgefield one, and I kind of spoke about that sovereign citizen thing. And she understood once I told her, it's oxymoron. You can't be sovereign and a citizen. You're one or the other. You're either free or you're in a contractual agreement with the state. But what's cool is that ever since I started this, we've learned so much, right? Like people used to be like, well, just turn in your license. Well, now we know you have to actually submit what's called a surrender form with the DMV. And even if your license is suspended in the system, as soon as you turn in that surrender form, it's changed over to surrendered. Okay, so that contract is null and void. So that whole we're driving on a suspended license thing, that's eliminated by you sending in a surrender form. It's literally that easy.
Enlighten us on that a little bit.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is when you go in, see the whole licensing aspect as far as title is concerned, registration is concerned, is they put in a theft prevention program for vehicles. And this was in relation to the whole registering aspect of it, registering and title. Of course, when you put in a title, you're giving ownership over to the state, and you just have the allodial. So you're just a holder in due course. You don't own the original MCO, which is the manufacturer's certificate. So what ends up happening is that when you go and get your license, you're actually giving up your right to travel freely for a privilege. You're giving up your right to travel freely for a privilege to use the roads in commerce, commercial gain. In that, they're not explicitly telling you that you're doing so, but you are. That's why if you go to the DMV and ask for any kind of hard copy application, they're not going to give you one that you can just go home with, which I don't think, but I'd have to recheck on that. I think some of them have, but they're still not giving you all the contractual agreements, nor are they not letting you know. And then something that's also amazing too is within the vehicle code, especially here in Washington, and I know in several others, is they have a clear distinction of definitions of person, which is corporation, municipalities, trusts, all those things, and then natural person, which is distinguished as a human being. Okay, and so definitions are everything in Black's Law, because it's always different. If I say drive to you now, I'm going to go on a drive, you thinking I'm just getting in my car and going to the grocery store. But then when you go into a court, it means that you're employed on the roads, using the roads in a commercial capacity. And those are the different distinctions. But I think, we just have to really get down to understanding that education is empowerment, and that's where it all starts. And if you surrender that license, if you go through, you can call up DMV and just ask them the questions, or look up in your DMV surrender form. You're going to see this surrender form. You turn it in. And once you turn it in the system, even if you are suspended, okay, it will go from suspended to surrendered, because you're ending the contract. Now, you would have, me personally, I understand how to sign contracts. I know to always sign my name and then UCC-1 or 1-308, which is reserving all my rights, or you can just put all rights reserved after your name. If you just leave it blank, you're signing as the corporation you, because there is a distinction between you and the natural being. It's real. I don't know how else to say it. Some people want to use straw man and say it's conspiracy. Hey man, if you don't know anything about trust law, whatever. I'm not even going to go down that route right now. But what I will say is, yes, there's a clear distinction between the two, and it's in court. It's in case law. So you just got to turn in that surrender form to your DMV, and that ends all contractual agreements, and that stops any kind of suspensions that you may have. And the next time you get pulled over, you're going to be able to say, and they're going to verify with you that, yeah, it shows in the system as surrendered. So a lot of times people be like, oh, I'm going to get that passport, and I'm going to be a national and all that. You can go get that too, but is it every time going to say in the system, do not detain, do not arrest? No. I'm telling you, I got people in law enforcement, okay?
If you do that, if you go, let's say I go pick up a surrender form, right? And let's say I pick up two and I send one to James Freeman because he was recently arrested.
Yeah.
And he just confessed that he hasn't had a license in a lot of years.
10 years.
And,
Yeah.
I'm with him on that. I'm with James Freeman on that, right? I'm like, fuck that. Right? So let's say I go pick up a contractual, a surrender form, and we're gonna fill it out. What happens when you surrender? When you fill out that surrender form, you turn it into the DMV, and let's say your license is suspended. You can no longer get charged for driving under suspended license. What would be the charge?
Nope, you wouldn't get. You'd get. It would go back to no driver's license.
So
no operation.
Wow. So in other words, you don't get. You could still probably get your car impounded or
yeah. Well, see, the thing is about it, man. Like, it's weird because like when I had my private plates on my wagon, I never had my car impounded. If you recall as well, that cop in Hood River, remember him saying, no, I get it, you're traveling, you're not driving. So he confirmed that they know, right?
They know.
That's the biggest, yeah, they know. And I like Amy for that. I really appreciate it. That helps. But what I will say is you have all remedy. That's the thing, y'all. If you're going to stand on your right, do it all the way, because there's always remedy. So when I say like, that I had my car towed earlier this year, right? Guess what? There's a tow hearing for that. You can go get a tow hearing for that. Did you not know that before you go to court, you can set up through the administrative aspect, through their municipality or their administrative county, city courts, right? Statutory courts. You can have a tow hearing. You have that tow hearing, okay? State what you need to state on the record. Have the cop come through, state what he needs to state on the record. Get it all recorded and on the record, okay? Why? What are you doing? You're establishing that your due process rights were violated. They have to give you notice. You have to give an opportunity to cure that notice, and then there has to be a judgment on that. They can't just take your car, bro. That's violation of due process. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people may think of it initially, if you're going to do this, you should have a little bit extra money in the bank, okay? Don't be out there on your last dollar doing this, bro. Like, have some money in the bank to be prepared to get your car out the impound, okay? It shouldn't be that much. Tally that up. When you go, and as we teach in the book, with all the motions, and you know, the right to travel course is now free with all of the motions. You get all the templates, all the updated templates in relation to the Chevron deference. I mean, we're really staying up to date on everything. We're not just giving you old stuff that don't work, y'all.
I am absolutely fine with him going to jail for a felony if we think it fits. And like I said, Peters felt that it fit.
I could see it if it were a fake trip permit. I mean, it's still a fake plate.
And it's the same plate there.
Right. It's his custom plate.
Yeah. And it's the same plate on both vehicles.
Right.
And it's not a plate that we can run.
Put the state of Washington on it.
So he's attempting to...
It's fraud.
Yeah. It's the only
Or
way
even
you guys are gonna
forgery.
learn.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
fraud. It's not good. Make sure his kids aren't able where they can see him.
How many kids does he have?
3.
That are here?
Yeah, they're all in the car. With his crippled wife.
Who's the female that was standing outside?
That's his wife. Oh, okay. She's got a bad foot.
And we probably haven't even addressed if they have somebody that can come pick them up.
No, we haven't
They
got...
just moved up here from Yakima.
They're living here.
They live somewhere in the county. They moved up here from the Yakima Valley.
We can address that, but
So they might have somebody to come get them then if they're moving up
can
here.
transport them or
I'm
something.
sure they're more constitutionalists.
I think what's amazing is that, you know, now people are going to start utilizing it and they're going to start trying. Well, let's say they try in court and they fail. Let's say they get found guilty. What happens? They don't go to jail. What happens? They going to get sent a fine in the mail. Hey, you need to pay this much amount. Who's going to enforce that? As long as you go to court, there ain't no warrants. So who's going to enforce that invalid, fraudulent debt?
What's crazy
You
is
tell me.
what's crazy is I have heard of people getting fines and just don't pay it.
I've gotten fines. I've been found guilty twice. Once in both of my state polices in Oregon found me guilty. They had a huge hella kangaroo court. I mean, it's horrible. And then they want you to pay $240 for an appeal. Now, could I go through and file for the fee to get waived? Possibly. Could I say I want to go and raise it up to the Supreme Court? Possibly. But what do I care if how you going to enforce or impose me to pay anything? You ain't gonna come garnish my wages. You see what I'm saying? You ain't gonna put it into collections. So who's gonna collect on that? It's sitting in their statutory offices somewhere in their administrative court. That's kangaroo. People got to start understanding that these judges, it's so funny that they call them judges, especially in the traffic courts, under administrative law, they are known as the highest clerk. They are not termed as judges. They are the highest clerk of the municipal corporation, because the city is nothing but a corporation. It's got a Duns and Bradstreet. So you essentially, after going, it's like this. It's like arbitration. Tickets are like arbitration for any problems or issues you have with your leasing agency, right? You got issues with the leasing agency. There's a violation. We're putting in this eviction ticket.
Okay, we go to arbitration. I'm filing for my rights. Oh, okay, we need you to pay this, or you know what I'm saying. You're going through the It's the same aspect in the courts, y'all. You're going through arbitration. In the back end, they're gonna say, "Oh, well, we ask you to pay you this. We impose this fine." Who's gonna impose that fine? How are you gonna tell me I need to pay that fine if there's no originating contractual agreement that I agree to what you're imposing on me? It's null and void, and that's what people don't understand. Everything is contract law. In the Constitution, it says I have unlimited power to contract, right? So if I have unlimited power to contract, I have unlimited power not to contract. You didn't think about that, did you? Nobody does. They just think, oh, well, I have unlimited power to contract then. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like you have to, right?
You don't have to. And if you do, and not everything is disclosed to you, oh, well, that's conspiracy against your rights. It's a null and void contract because there wasn't equal consideration of knowing everything that was being imposed, right? If you went out there and got a driver's license, and even with a driver's license or suspended driver's license, you could literally go out there and fight that bad boy in relation to the aspects that you did not know. You were not put on notice that you were giving away your rights. Like, it literally is that easy. First what we do is we file what's called strikes or motions to strikes. And we use key terms like corpus delicti, verified complainant. These are aspects that have to be proven. Like a verified complainant, there has to be a member of the public to come and complain against me, okay? Bring forth a complaint. If there's not a verified complainant, meaning a member of the public, there is no case because the corporation cannot come in. You see, it's totally out of line. So we utilize the strike or dismiss first. If they don't want to utilize that to drop the case, we move forward with an abatement. And this is strong as far as an abatement is concerned because you also have a memorandum in support of that. But then we can also file for jurisdiction, right? We can also file in relation to Chevron deference being repealed. There's so many aspects on how we win it. It's not one for everybody, but multiple, because some DAs are like, yeah, okay, we recognize this. We don't want no civil lawsuit. Let's just push this one out, get them up out of here. We don't want many people. We need the revenue coming through. Don't let them talk no more. Shut it down. Some are going to be a little bit harder. No, we're imposing this, and we say we're going to play hardball because we're a little low on money right now. We haven't been ticketing many people, and we still beating those. Like I said, my boy Lewis, I can't wait to get his testimonial when this is all said and done. It's going to be so huge, y'all, because he's not very good with his English. And, you know, he's coming through and they're trying to, you know, because he's not so good with English, they trying to say, oh, well, we're going to give you a quarter-point attorney. And he's like, I'm not finna be a ward of the state. Like, he said presenting myself instead of representing, you know, I'm presenting myself, you know. But he's doing great and he's filing these motions. And I know he's going to win. And it's just from empowerment and knowledge. So
it's usually what happens. That's who came last time. My snapped in the beast was another constant. My Uncle Mike. Huh? My Uncle Mike.
Oh. Gotcha. I don't know. It's up to you. If you just want to write him stuff and let him go, that's fine. But I still think that it's a bookable offense by all means.
Yeah. No, the fact that there's
not even a pin in that.
No pin, no plate. The car's dash or the steering column's been messed with.
Well, I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the plates that are displayed on it.
No, they're going to learn. I have no problem taking them.
Okay. Hang on, let me see if I need to move. You good? Okay. But we still have to come up with something reasonable to do or make sure that the kids and the wife are safe, which they are here.
Yeah. So, what did he call it?
Forgery.
Fictitious plate.
Or fraud. The actual RCW would be under fraud.
Fraud.
Forgery.
Well, forgery is anything to... I'm forgetting all the words right now. Forgery is what we charge for trip permits.
Yep. Don't you agree this would fit as well? A fake trip permit and a fake license plate are basically the same thing.
And you're defrauding the state
yes.
through the state of Washington. It's fake plate.
Okay, here's something that I wanted to touch on. Cops seem to have absolutely no patience for people questioning authority or trying to figure out the law right then and there. Cops act like they have no patience. We don't have time for this. We're not going to play court on the side of the road. We're not going to play on the side of the road, judge and jury on the side of the road. And cops always act like they have no patience for the people to question authority. So because so many people are questioning this, the law is not clear. The state likes to make us believe that the law is clear, but a lot of people, either the state is confused or a lot of people everywhere are confused, right?
Yeah.
Should there be something implemented within police policy, some kind of federal fucking oversight over police or something, where it says when you have a person on the side of the road questioning this, maybe we don't have time to have discussions or yada yada yada, but should the police approach this issue differently without brute force and compliance, without towing people's vehicles or taking people to jail? Should there be some kind of different or some kind of policy in place for cops to deal with this a certain way?
Yeah, most definitely. And that's what leads right back to the traffic law reform. If we look over the past 4 years, there's been over 3,600 deaths related just to traffic stops alone in our nation. And you may be like, oh, well, that's only 3,600 people and that's 4 years. It's not that very big. But you got to look at how many people are affected from those 3,600 people that died. You know, fathers with nothing left. They're just gone with no help. So I know people don't necessarily want to kill other people. I'm sure there are people out there that do want to kill people. There's some evil people out there, but I don't think cops' whole intention is to go out there and kill people. You know, I really don't have anything bad to say about good cops. I'm not going to say all cops are bad in general. I'm really not. I'm here to work with cops. I'm here to work with law enforcement. I'm here to get back to us as a community standing against the evil powers. I'm not going to say it's government, but there are evil powers that want to see us conflicted, that don't want to see us together, that don't want to see us strengthen as a community, that want to see us strengthen as one group of people, because it doesn't matter about your color. It doesn't matter about your race. We're all one people, and we all have values, morals, integrity, and traditions that are all based on family and how great life is. And so, like I said, yeah, with the traffic law reform, I think with that, what we're trying to achieve is the elimination of the papers scheme, right? Having your papers in order, which I like to call, you know, I think that's probably the biggest problem that we have that leads to just so many deaths and then just so many people financially being hurt. Because it's not like these traffic violations are hurting any members of our public, right? It's hurting us. We're not hurting anybody when we're getting these tickets. It's the state hurting us financially. And for what? Your papers aren't in order? Well, that sounds, you know, like Nazi Germany. That sounds like something I don't want to be a part of, and something that our country and so many of our ancestors died for to ensure that freedom. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So I think, yeah, the traffic law reform which we're working on, I think we've gone really deep into the aspect of putting things together, which is the elimination of just the registration aspect, ticketing system itself. It's just gone overboard. It's just hurting every citizen. And it really is not benefiting anybody. I mean, drunk drivers, cool. Yeah, get them off the road. You see some drunk driving going on? Let's get them off the road, bro. We don't need nobody hurt.
So you're not even anti-police. You're not even like what they say, sovereign citizen. You don't believe in not having a government. You don't believe in not having police. And that brings my next question, I guess. I wanted to ask this earlier, but you kind of reminded me. You do believe that there should still be police on the road enforcing things like what? Speeding or dangerous things, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think speeding should be regulated. Bro, I lost my leg in a car accident, okay? So, yeah, do I think that we should be cautious? Yes, man. My grandma gonna be driving on the road. My grandpa gonna be driving on the roads, bro. Like, we don't need you out there speeding, having my grandma being fearful of you wanting to do all that. There's areas and places for you to go speed. You want to go speed? Bro, there's racetracks. You can go do that. You want to go get your thrills off, bro? Go ride you some ATVs or some dirt bikes. Maybe go get you an electric bike. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a big thing down in Cali. I know it is. Sir Ronster, shout out. You know, I just look at it like this. All of these kids are out here riding on these electric bikes that go 60 miles an hour. They don't need no driver's license for that, do they? They sure don't. So why do you? Because you got a car? You got a car? Electric bikes out there going 65 miles an hour, man, on them streets. They don't need no license. Why? What's the difference between a motored and an electric? So, I mean, we got to just get down to the logical aspect. Logical, man. It's just logic. And I think cops do want to focus their time more on crime than do you have your papers in order? So,
man,
at least that's what they tell me.
I gotta say, man, that I didn't expect to have this conversation and come out of this with a hopeful mindset. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro, I felt like I almost gave up. I'm like, this shit is not gonna work. But then along the way, I've seen more and more and more and more people challenging this.
Well, you want to know why, though? You want to know why? It's because when people understand this, it's like they want to attack the police. They really think that every policeman knows this stuff. They don't, man. And it's like, you can't attack. You kind of have to be pretty cool about it. You got to just be cool, be polite. And then I would really recommend the Eddie Craig script. I have that on my channel too. But the Eddie Craig script is perfect because every aspect of the encounter when you get pulled over is a deliberate question to set them up to violate your rights. It's all a setup so that if they violate, you will get paid. And that's the point of this. Stand up on it enough until they spend so much money that they will not do it anymore. Not only that, but that we have enough of our people finally standing on our rights. Because if we don't, we're going to end up like China, bro. So, or Korea, or any other dictatorship. So
I want to continue this topic with you in the future as well. Maybe we'll do like some kind of like maybe like a course on here or something where we talk about things. Anybody that's watching this right now, if you have any questions for Cameron, start throwing your questions in the comment section and we'll try to get those questions answered. I still have 1,000 questions as far as like, how do we approach this? Where do we go from here? If the people do this and things change, what will that do to people who become victims on the road from car accidents, people with no insurance? There's a lot of questions that need to be touched on because, you know, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of even animosity towards people who want to do this because they believe they are correct. Not because they just want to buck the system, but because they want to, because they feel this is their natural right. They feel that they're being taken advantage of. And government takes advantage of the people all the time, right? Yeah. Cops talk down to you a lot of time. Cops will speak to you in a way where it's like demeaning. Nobody likes to be talked down to, right? Nobody does. Not from you.
Nor do they deserve it.
Nor do they deserve it. I mean, sometimes within families and shit, we fight at home and we talk down to each other. But, you know, cops are out there and they treat people a certain way and they have that whole mentality where we just comply. And the people have begun to just comply for so long. Yeah. These communities on YouTube who are questioning authority, we're learning a lot. I've learned a lot since I started my channel. When I first started my channel, I was just an asshole with the camera. I walked up to every cop watch with my middle finger up. I was like, you know, fuck you cops. But now, you know, I'm of the mindset like you kind of, and many other folks as well, where am I still a statist? Kind of. I still believe we should have cops to go solve crimes, murders. Yeah. We do have software like CODIS where they, you know, check blood, DNA, and they solve crimes. Why isn't this software being used more? Why aren't cops being used more to pull out these files, cold case files, investigate? You can't watch one episode of cold case files where you don't hear a family member, friends say things like the cops screwed up the investigation, right? Yeah. And so even then, I personally believe we still need cops. I don't want to go out there and arrest these felons who robbed a bank or murdered someone. I don't want to do it. I want to pay somebody to do it. But I don't want to pay for cops to go and treat the people like we're being treated, being talked down to, being treated with brute force and compliance. Just obey, just comply. We back the blue. We don't even know the First Amendment or the Constitution, even though we swore an oath to it. We don't know. We don't care about your natural rights. We're gonna call you names like sovereign citizen. And it's just, you know what they say, without cops, politicians are just people with bad ideas. So whenever the political spectrum, somebody's leaning one way or another. People don't understand how politics work. You know, it's one side of the government wants to create more government, the other side's going to come in and empower the enforcers, right? Back to blue. More government, back to blue. More government, back to blue. So nothing changes. Everything just gets worse. The people lose at the end of the day, nonstop. Why do our politicians, our presidential candidates, Trump is speaking on the Constitution. Hopefully he keeps his word.
Yeah.
Why aren't our politicians forced to know the Constitution before they even get up there and speak on the podium? You know, cops swear an oath to it, but they don't know it. Politicians act like they care about it, but they scoff at it. Cops and everybody in government scoff at every notion, every mention of the Constitution, of our rights, because the Constitution doesn't give us our rights. Just like you, I am of the mindset of natural rights. I learned that from Jason Bassler, Police to Police and the Free Thought Project. He visits me sometimes, we talk, and I was like, human rights, and he's like, I don't like to look at it in terms of human rights, because where is this coalition of humans? Where do you have to be born at? They are natural rights because you are naturally born into these rights. And so, you know, certain things like, for instance, citizen, I don't call myself a citizen anymore. There's certain things that I'm learning along the way. Do I consider myself a sovereign citizen? No. I understand that's an oxymoron. Do I believe cops act like sovereign citizens? Yeah. They act like the laws don't apply to them. And it's just where we're at right now, man. Something needs to change, because it's not a sustainable system for the people. It is a sustainable system for the government to keep growing into this giant monster where the people just comply and obey, and the government gets bigger. Cops and politicians have more and more umbrellas of protection to bring them from the bottom to the top and put us from the top to the bottom, kind of as you put it.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. It's just knowledge, man. And it's not being rude, it's not being disrespectful, but no, like I said, you know, I do have law enforcement that I talk to. I have one here in the neighborhood that I just talked to last week. We had a good conversation. Yeah, man, they don't want to have to enforce it either, right? Because how they feel is every time they go to that car, they don't know if they're going to go home. They don't know if they're going to go home. Just like they don't know if they're going to have to shoot somebody, right? So it's kind of a fearful thing for them. It puts them in anxiety. And then what ends up happening is, from what I've been told, is that every time they go to a car, because of bad situations that's happened before, they're already prejudging that person. So they're just, you know, it's like everybody just becomes this, rather than giving, you know, true respect and honor to every person, because every person's different. It just becomes everybody's the same, and they just get treated the same. From one person I know, he feels as though it's kind of made him a bad person, and he sees how he's changed who he was. So I'll leave it at that. So
what's your first name, ma'am?
Huh?
What's your first name?
Jasmine. My first name is Jasmine.
Okay.
What's your name?
Mike.
Mike. Nice to meet you.
You too. So your husband?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my
He's
son.
going to jail.
Okay.
Okay. This is getting impounded.
Why?
Because it's not legal to be on the road.
Really?
Yep. I'm not going to argue it with you. I'm just telling you what's happening.
Okay.
My concern is for you and the kids. Obviously, we don't want to leave you stranded. My understanding is you guys just recently moved up here from the Yakima area. Are you living in Stevens County somewhere? Okay. Do you have anybody that you can call to come get you?
Probably not. But you said it's not registered at all?
It's not registered at all.
It
So-
was registered.
It was at one
wherever he got
point.
it from
To my dad?
your dad, and your dad released interest in the car.
Right.
Now
So
there's no legal owner of the car.
so how are we going to collect it if you say somebody needs to be registered to it, if it's our
He has the title of the transfer. He has that bill of sale thing from your dad that has all the VINs and stuff
right,
on it.
has that information?
Yeah, he has to take that to the DOL and transfer the title.
And get actual Washington
So does
state
that mean I
license
have
plates
to
on it.
claim my children too?
What do you mean?
Yeah, because I mean they're my children. I have to register them to the state too.
No. This has to do with
That's
the
my
vehicle, not with the
property. I mean,
kids.
these are my property, right?
Okay, if that's how you
So
want to look
this
at
is
it.
my property too.
Okay.
We're just trying to find a ride. It's not part of the service.
That's up to her. I'm
Can
not
I
going
talk
make
to my
that.
husband?
Can she talk to him?
Yep, come on back.
We were trying not to let the kids have to see him in custody, but that's up to
Oh,
you.
let's have a picture.
Okay. 108 control. we're going to need an impound tow for the full-size truck and a tandem axle hitch pull car trailer with a car on it.
Man, talking to you now, you're not of the mindset of you're anti-police, you're anti-government. No, on the contrary, you still believe.
No, I want them to serve us, bro. That's their job, is to serve us.
Right.
Let's just get them to serve us, you know? Because hopefully one day I can become a servant of my people. I mean, I'm already a servant of the people. I'm working to help everyone's rights. So hopefully in the future, I mean, I'm doing a lot of this for myself. I'm doing this a lot for my daughters and my children. But I'm also doing this so that later on down the road, I can be a servant. Hopefully I can be put in a position of being able to help people where it's needed. Because, you know, this generation, I think our generation specifically, we're coming in and changing a lot of things. There's just a whole mindset. Hopefully it comes back to, you know, you would think the people from the 60s would have came through and changed it. I guess that didn't work out. But I don't know. Hopefully this generation can come through and start making some changes. And it really depends on, first off, just the education. That's why I put out this book. This book is going to be able to go worldwide in multiple languages. So it's not just, you know, focused on those people that look up the right to travel. It's actually, here's my experience and what has happened. And here's all the case law that backs me. And so that's why I made this book, is because it's going to go from the young to the old. Anybody and everybody can read it. And it's not necessarily of screw the police. It's like, hey, here's the laws and here's where we got. And hey, I've won several times now in court with my rights confirmed. And maybe you should too if you'd like. So yeah.
I have a quick proposal.
Yeah.
If there are any cops watching this when I upload it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
If there's any cops that want to do an interview and talk about this, because I do believe this topic right here needs to be discussed by both sides, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm in the middle here. I don't know. I'm trying to learn here, right? And I want to be able to have that discussion, have Cameron ask questions, have Cameron answer questions, have the cop ask questions and answer questions as well. I think this topic should be discussed so we can either agree to disagree or figure out a common goal, a balance here, so that we could figure it out. And we don't have these situations where we're on the road and it becomes dangerous, or it becomes, you know, an ego push for the cop to just comply and do what you're told, and the people are like, hold on, man, hold on. It's like, yeah, I would love any of you cops that are on there, ex-cop or even a policymaker, you guys are watching this, email me at recordpolicenow@gmail.com. I'll try to set up an interview between a cop or a policymaker, myself and Cameron, and we'll just keep bringing forth this topic. We're gonna have as many discussions as we can, because I don't know, I'm doing my best to learn. I want to learn. I want to present this information to the people so they can question these things, so they can take it to their policymakers, their law enforcement, chiefs of police. Let's get this topic and let's discuss it, because there's so much confusion out there. There are a lot of people putting themselves at risk right now, right? Because they're the people out there right now, yourself, a couple other people that are doing this, they're really putting themselves at risk. And you guys are doing it for everybody else to have freedom. So I think we the people should get behind you, have these discussions, and let's figure it out, right?
Yeah, so we can get it to the next level.
Next
then
level.
We can get it to Congress. Yeah, next level,
in
man.
Congress.
Get traffic law reform, man. And I think that's a great idea, dude, to get some cops in here and have a real true discussion. I think that's gonna be amazing. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Let's do that.
I would enjoy that.
What's that?
Illegally pulling?
Well, it's more than that. He's got the fake license plates displayed on the truck, on the car. No license or identifying numbers on the trailer at all. So there's more. It's pretty convoluted. There's a lot of issues. Bottom line is, this whole mess can't legally be on the road. It's not licensed or insured or registered or anything. Did you guys look much for a VIN on the trailer? Or?
I was talking.
Okay. You okay, buddy?
Now, Cameron, time is short. We got to cut it. It's been over an hour. I think I'm going to go ahead and present this in its entirety because it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, cool.
Let's do this again soon.
Okay, brother. You're down in Cali, right?
California.
Okay, I might come down soon. I'm just up here in Washington, so.
Real quick, when was your car accident where you lost your leg? When did that happen?
2011.
2011? Mm-hmm. So in the video, I didn't even know that you had lost your leg, or maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, I lost my leg. But I just got a new foot last week too, bro. And when I come down, maybe we can do like a foot race. We'll throw some money down. We'll gamble or something, see who can run faster. I bet I beat you, but we'll see. We'll see.
For reals, bro? I may be short. I may be short and chubby, bro, but I can run, homie. I can run.
All right.
I used
to
to
run.
run.
Short and only have 5 toes, but I can run too, bro. So we gonna see.
Shit, you can still kick some ass. I can see. Hell yeah, bro. Man, cool. Cameron, this was amazing. Great conversation. We're gonna do this again, and we're gonna do this more often, I believe, because I believe this is a topic that concerns a lot of people, and I don't want to see people keep putting themselves at risk. I want to see if we can find some kind of common ground, so even the cops can say, okay, this is another one of them situations. Let's deal with it a different way, or a better way, right?
Right.
Even if because
being proactive really works too, though. I'm gonna tell you like that. If you're proactive and you know you're finally going this route, you're surrendering your driver's license, going up and talking to the chief of police, filing a notice of liability, it really does go a long way, guys. I'm just telling you.
I'm gonna go pick up that
surrender form.
I'm gonna go pick up that form. And I'm going to give you a call, and I'm going to ask you some questions on how to fill it out. Cool?
Okay, cool deal. We'll do it.
All right, Cameron. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
You're very welcome, bro. We'll talk later.
All right, bro. That was awesome. Outstanding. Good job, Cameron.